Okay, so today our lesson is 1.4 note session. We're going to learn how to write equations and inequalities. There are three terms that you guys need to understand first before we can go any further, and that is you have to understand what an open sentence is, an equation, and an inequality. I think you guys are pretty familiar with equations and inequalities. Equations and inequalities are both types of open sentences. And just as a quick review, equations have an equal sign in them. Inequalities have one of four signs: less than or equal to, less than, greater than or equal to, greater than. So whenever any of those four symbols are used, that is an inequality. Alright, now, in 1.3, what we did is we looked at different phrases and how we could translate those into expressions. We looked at like what words tell us what to do adding, or what words will tell us to do subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. And this, what we're doing in 1.4, is very similar to that, except now we're going to take what we learned in 1.3 and we're going to add one more thing to it, and that is how to use associated phrases to determine what the symbol is going to be, either an equal sign or one of those inequality signs. And so below, where that says key concepts, those are just a few of the phrases that are used, and we might come across some others later on down the road, and you can kind of add those to your list. Alright, our first guided practice question is going to be number 1 on page 21 in your textbook. The main portion of the question, or at least the thing that we need to look at, is the quotient of a number p and 12 is at least 30. When we look at that, there are two things that we can identify. The 1.3 part of it is where we're determining the operation. Quotient tells us division. And in the manner in which it's stated, you just take it straight across, left to right as you read it. That's what you're going to put. The first thing that appears, p, that goes in your numerator, and the 12 goes in your denominator. Then we come across the 1.4 stuff, what we're learning today, and that is the at least 30. At least tells us that it's going to be greater than or equal to. Does that make sense, the word at least? Because when I say I have at least 30, or I need at least 30 napkins for my party, it means that I want 30 or more, right? So greater than or equal to. And then you can see the explanation down there. The verbal phrase was translated into an open sentence. I determined that the expression was a division problem using the key word quotient, and it was an inequality using greater than or equal to using the word at least. So all I do is identify the two main things that I had to find out or translate to turn it into an open sentence. And in this situation, it's an inequality. Okay, so now with the first guided practice, you guys translated the verbal phrases. In this situation, for guided practice number 4 on page 22, you're already going to be given the open sentence. Either it's an inequality or it's an equation. And what they're going to ask you is they're going to ask you whether a particular number is a solution. This is kind of a different way of going about solving. It's kind of like showing you a guess and check method in a way. You will have this every once in a while. A real-life situation where you would use this is if you had an equation and someone said, based upon this equation, will this number work? This happens in business a lot, where they say, okay, based upon the equation of how much this product cost to produce, to package, to put in a store, can we sell it for this price and make a profit? Or at least break even on it? Because sometimes stores even do that. Like during Black Friday, stores will even lose money on certain products to get you to come to the store. You know, you guys, like on the day after Thanksgiving, they have that huge sale. Some of the stores they'll sell products. Yeah, they'll sell a product for, let's say, what would normally be a $50 item, they sell it for like $5. You'll come into the store and buy that, and if you're smart, then you'll just stop there, right? That's all you'll buy. But most people, they'll look at other deals, and sometimes there are still pretty good deals, but they're going to make money off of that. And so they know that they're going to make so much money over the total sale. And so this equation, they'll say, okay, how many do we need to sell to be able to still make a profit? And so that's how this is used in real life. But in our situation, what we're going to do is we're just going to plug that number in for the variable. Once again, I like to use a parentheses. And in this situation, it really did matter, right? And so what you're going to do is you're going to take the 2 times the 9 and get 18. Once again, guys, one step at a time. Once we get our 18, we do 18 plus 3. We get 21. Now, once we got just one number on one side of the open sentence and another number on the other side of the open sentence, this is where we make a determination. Is it true or false based upon the statement? And in this situation, 21 is greater than or equal to 21. It's equal to 21, obviously. And so the statement is true, so therefore 9 is a solution. Okay, guided practice number 7 is our third question that we're looking at. It's on page 22. This situation, they're asking us to solve an open sentence. Once again, it can either be an inequality or an equation, but they want us to solve it mentally. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't write an explanation. It does mean that you don't necessarily have to show work like you would typically. So in this situation, I'm just going to put r equals 40, and I think everyone can probably do that in their heads, right? And so in this situation, all I'm going to write in my explanation is what I was thinking in my head as I came up with this. I solved the open sentence by asking myself, what divided by 4 equals 10? My answer is 40 because 40 divided by 4 equals 10. And that's most likely what you guys did, right? Some of you might have gone the other route. You might have asked yourself, 4 times 10 equals what? Because you were using the multiplication property of equality, where you're able to multiply both sides. Okay, guided practice number 8 on page 23. There are 2 main portions of this question that we need to look at. The first one is the price of 4 tickets at half off is $15. And we actually get that within the question itself. But there is some reference to example 4 on page 23 that we can look at. It's not really that necessary. It just gives you the idea of how to use unit rates. Okay. The next thing that we do is we look at the phrase, what is each person's share if you pay full price? So that kind of sets up what we need to do for our open sentence. So the first thing we do is we identify a variable. 4 tickets at half off is $15. And so what I said is, okay, I'm going to buy 4, so 4 times T, where T equals the price of each ticket, divided by 2, that's the half price, it equals $15. Then I solve for T. I get $7.50 for each ticket. That's at full price because I considered the half off, didn't I? And then finally I have my explanation. I say I determine the price of each ticket at full price by using the verbal phrase to create an open sentence. 4t divided by 2 equals 15. I then solved for the variable t to determine the ticket price. Now you could have also done 4t equals 15, solved for that, and then multiplied that by 2 because you knew each one of those would have been half price, right? That's another way that you could have gone about it.